Colorado goes. Oh, Joe, I've been waiting for this segment, boy. I have been waiting for this segment. But Colorado falls to Kansas yesterday. Devin Neal has 207 yards rushing. He has another 80 yards receiving, and Kansas gets the upset against Colorado. I normally let you start off segments.
Okay.
But I'm not going to let that one happen this time. On Monday, we broke down this game, and we talked about Colorado and Kansas. And boy, did I get hate. Over 400 comments on the YouTube clip of us talking about Colorado. And I was called a lot of things under the sun. I was told that I didn't know football. I don't know what I'm watching. This dude acts like he knows about offensive line play. He doesn't. Joe, on Monday, I came out here and said that Kansas is going to run on this really putrid, at moment in times, Colorado defensive line. I got hammered. I got hammered by you. You told me you no good Rudy Poo. You don't.
Okay, I didn't say that. I didn't.
And I said Kansas is going to line up and run the football right at him. And boy, did they. And Devin Neal, brother, welcome to the show. That man is a dude. Joe, just going to tell you, when you don't want to run the football, if you're Colorado, and you let teams run the ball on you in the second half the way that you do, that tells me that your depth is a problem and that they're so cocky that they kept running man-to-man yesterday. Late in the game, Jalen Daniels is throwing passes to Neal and man-to-man because he knows that the safeties are not going to be able to cover or backers are going to be able to cover Devin Neal. And you got pieced apart by a better coaching staff offensively, okay? I am just saying that there comes a place in time where when you decide that you don't want to line up and run the football and get in these kinds of games, you're going to get beat. Tougher teams win, and the tougher team won here.
One thing I just have to, if you're going to try and point out that you were right, I have to bring up, I put Devin Neal in my top running backs ranking at the beginning of the season. I don't think you did. And if I remember correctly, you gave me shit for putting Devin Neal where I had it. No, because I had him at 4, and you were trying to hype up Caleb Jackson, and said that Caleb Jackson should have been in there over. I'm gonna go find that segment after this. I remember you gave me a hard time for.
I'm going to delete the segment.
I'm a big Devin Neal fan, especially for the upcoming draft. I think he's a phenomenal runner, and we saw what he can do to take over a game if he's given the opportunity to succeed. I don't disagree with you. We saw that in this game, where there was the circumstance where if Colorado could not step up and play sound run defense, just gap sound defense, played poor to their run fits. They allowed way too much easy progression to Devin Neal and also to Jalen Daniels. I have to at least, though, this is what's going to get missed in all this, and I know that you don't fit into this category because you're not a Colorado hater, and even though a lot of the Colorado fans think that you are, you're not. I think that a lot of Colorado fans or Colorado haters are very quick to look at this performance and to get super excited and happy that their season's done, and they don't want to pay attention to anything and just say like, oh, what another failure. They failed to step up to the challenge. There still needs to be recognized because they're likely out of the Big 12 championship mix with how complicated the tiebreakers are. The accomplishment that Deion Sanders has had to this point in the way that they have progressed this much, the way that they've improved this much, it does need to be recognized. It's something that's going to get missed in this discussion because it feels like it's a complete disappointment that they did not go on to win the Big 12 championship game. But it is still a massive step forward for this team and proof that Deion Sanders is a great coach. And I know you agree with me on that. Mm-hmm. It's just, it was a little too soon. It's just a little bit too soon to think that they were ready to finish. And I was all in on them to get the job done. And I got a little bit ahead of myself, and I should have paused for a second, as I said throughout parts of the season, that we need to wait a second before they do actually win the Big 12 championship and go on to the playoff.
Depth in November, man. It's a fickle thing. And when you go in the portal the way that you do and you maneuver the way that you do, depth will finally catch up to you. And Joe, quite honestly, I had seen this matchup before with Colorado. Now, one of the games they won against a team that has no, I know they're in the FCS playoffs. I saw it, the same style and system work for North Dakota State. Guess where I saw it again? Nebraska. And I'm like, wait a minute. What does Kansas want to do here? Now, I didn't think Kansas's back end and DBs, pause, would be able to stop that wide receiver core over and over again the way that they did. Kobe Bryant had 2 PBUs late. Maybe I should have counted more on him. But there comes a part where I have seen this story for Colorado a couple of times where you at the line of scrimmage, you're not good enough right now for a team to lean on you. Meaning over and over again, teams are just running right at you. They don't give a shit. Kansas does not give a shit. They will literally run the ball all day long. And when you do not line up and run the football and you don't care about time of possession, eventually your defense is going to get whooped. Eventually they're going to be too tired. You're going to have to start rotating. Guys are going to make mistakes because they are exhausted. And that is exactly what Kansas did to them. I'd seen it, the matchup. I'm like, man, Nebraska is a tough team. They're not having a lot of success, but they're tough. And they're going to run it right at you. And, Joe, this is what happens and what Kansas has always done best. You mean to tell me you're going to give me 5 yards to carry? Well, then I'm going to line up again and run it right at you. And Devin Neal's going to have a career day. Joe, he had a career day. I mean, bro, he had 287 yards, total yards. That is insanity.
They couldn't have been in a higher, at a higher success rate, a higher EPA per play. They 94th percentile for success rate every single time the ball was snapped.
Think about
here's the real truth telling thing. The havoc rate, which is a stat that you and I both love bringing up. And for the listener who doesn't know what that is, it means on every single given snap, the rate in which your team is producing sacks, but more importantly, tackles for loss, just creating penetration to generate stops behind the line of scrimmage. They had a 9% havoc rate, which was completely abysmal compared to what they were doing coming into this game. And Kansas's offensive line, they lost their best offensive lineman, Dominic Puny, to the draft last year. Their offensive line is nothing special. So for you to only hit on 9% and to get run over the way that you were, that paints the picture of what exactly happened in this game. They were getting pushed. They were creating space. And as the game snowballed, like we keep talking about here, if you don't have those early stops against the run, and you're not able to produce in the running game the way that you needed to, like Colorado got stopped in some situations, it catches up to you. And eventually, maybe next year, we start to see an improvement in that area because there were certain areas last year that they were having issues with, like their pass rush, that improved drastically this season. There's going to be steps forward on a year-to-year basis.
Not if you don't throw the ball. And run the ball. No,
well, they're gonna have to have a bit of a different approach next year because they're not gonna have Shador Sanders, they're not gonna have Travis Hunter, and they're not gonna have a bunch of these receivers. Did you say they're gonna have a new head coach?
They're gonna have a new head coach.
Stop it!
They are.
We're not. I really do. I will only think that Deion Sanders would do that is if Shador ends up with the Cowboys, and I do not think that Shador is going to end up with the Cowboys. I don't.
All right. Dallas does it. He's gone. I'm just telling you. 333 rushing yards for one team, 43 for the other.
I hate how right you are about that because like that's literally it's both things that you were right about, which is infuriating.
Why is it infuriating?
Because I don't like being wrong. What do you mean? Why is it infuriating? Because like you don't like being wrong. Whenever when I'm right on this show, you don't want to.
I'm never wrong.
Exactly my point.
But I am wrong a lot. I'm just joking. But there comes a part there, brother, when you can line up and run the ball. I'm sorry. It's a tale as old as time. A tale as old as time. We just get away from it because we want great cornerback playing. Look at this system that they're running.
This is a year of proof that with as much bad quarterback play that we've had across the country, this is proof that you need to invest. Teams need to, in an era where it's easy to get guys to leave their teams, overinvest at running back. This isn't the NFL. Overinvest. Bring in 3 running backs. Like do whatever you can. Ohio State is the perfect example of what teams should start to do. Plain and simple.
I agree.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.